All right. Hey, everybody. Thank you for joining another Bootcamp session here, another Startaloo Bootcamp session. I am super pumped for today's session. We have Keaton Walker, who is a guest who I have gotten to know over the last few months.
Yeah, he's doing just December, I think.
December has it been? Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's just doing some really cool stuff that I don't feel like you see really anywhere else. At least I haven't. And it's stuff that we've done in our office and have had some really good success with. And I think there's a lot we can do with this. I think this is, really just kind of starting off on the power behind conditional marketing. And I am not a marketing whiz by any means, but I've just kind of stumbled onto a few things along the way, and Keaton is offering one of those things, and I just thought it was super cool. And if he could come on and kind of share with everybody what he's doing, I thought it'd be a real great value to us all. So we are very fortunate to have him come on. Again, this is part of our Bootcamp series. All these sessions are recorded. I will say the last one, if you saw it, you'd know that I was doing it in the middle of a power outage, and for whatever reason, Zoom didn't record the screen share. It just recorded me talking the whole time. So we're going to edit and put those slides into it. So it's not up yet for the recording, but it does tie a little bit into what we're talking about today. And Keaton knows, ever since we started talking about this, I've always been cued into this idea of matching a patient profile to a conditional marketing set and being able to cross that bridge so that you have really high qualified leads coming in. And, to me, again, if you've listened to the last few sessions, I'm very big on, it's not just enough to have patients come in the door, it's the type of patients that you're having coming in the door to maximize your ROI on marketing. So I am going to turn it over to Keaton and let him take over and talk a little bit about what he does.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Dr. B. So let's go. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And by the way, I love that like Superman Startaloo picture. I hadn't seen that.
Yeah. We used to have a Hummer at my office.
Yeah, I've seen that in the Startaloo videos.
Seen it, yeah. And it had a picture of me on the side, which, if you ever want to test your marriage, ask your wife to drive around in a vehicle with you on the side and a Superman hero. Yeah.
That's amazing. Love that. Dr. B smiles. So I apologize for it. Somehow I got like some sort of weird like black background on my Chrome yesterday, and I spent about 20 minutes trying to fix it and still couldn't figure it out. So the color's a little bit off, but we'll be fine. Just a little bit about me. I am the founder and owner of orthopatients.com. There you go. It just switched to the right color, but I have a background in family and local service-based businesses. That's what really interests me, what I've done ever since I was a little kid. I grew up in a family-based business, and that's always been kind of where my mind has lived. And I've consulted personally with Dr. Tyler Coles, who many of you know from Ortho Marketing DFY. I also work with Tyler Lovall, who you might have seen online in the past couple weeks as well. He's my partner. And then Musafer Demirtas, a lot of you probably haven't heard of him, but he's single-handedly grown dental practices by over $60,000 a month. So I've consulted extensively with a lot of people in the space, and I've had ortho patients for about a year at this point. And today, just like Dr. B said, we're going to talk about conditional marketing. Before I jump into that, and what many of you are probably wondering what conditional marketing is, I'm going to discuss what it's not. And before I'm going to discuss what it's not, I'm going to show you kind of the results that you can expect to see and some of the numbers that we've been able to generate for clients all across the country using these tactics. So this is a screenshot from the back end of a Facebook ads account of one of our clients. They're spending about $10 a day. This obviously was a few months ago. They were spending about $10 a day to generate every $1.32. They had somebody messaging in, and they'd spent about $160, as you see here, and 122 people had messaged in. And just like Dr. B says, not all 122 are going to become patients, and we don't want all 122 to come in for a consult. Conditional marketing is about figuring out which ones of those are going to be worth the chair time, so that we can start as many qualified patients as possible. And this is a little example of what happens once somebody submits their information through our marketing tactics. They come into this Google Sheet and they say, this is how the back end of in the office, your front office is calling these people. They can say, okay, Tuesday's the best day for them, early morning. And we've just filled sheets and sheets and sheets full of people looking for orthodontic treatment. So discussing what conditional marketing is not, it's not ads to landing pages. So if you don't know what a landing page is, it's basically just a one-page site. And when you run Facebook ads to landing pages, you take people off of Facebook or Instagram or Google and send them to this single page that's basically designed to shove orthodontic treatment down their throat, or sell them on your office, which isn't, selling them on your office is great, but the amount of qualified leads that come through this isn't as high as it would be otherwise. They're also time consuming to create and write. They're expensive to host, like about $97 a month. And they have no conditional marketing or qualifying aspect to them. So this is kind of a traditional marketing thing that a lot of people are doing or have done in the past, but this is what we're not talking about today. We're also not talking about posting these types of things on your social profiles, silly social media posts, things like National Milk Day or why did the deer need braces? This isn't
when is National Milk Day? I'm curious.
Yeah, it must have been recently. I stole this off an orthodontist pit. These are real things, actually. Like I'm sorry if you're watching this and this was on your page. This is not, I hate to break it to you, it's not going to help you qualify patients.
And I should mention, Keaton, we, in some of the past, we've talked about qualifying and, you want, 30 patients coming to your office and only one starts, or would you rather have 5 patients come to your office and 3 start? Which one is better from an ROI and even just chair time in your office? So yeah, I think that's great.
Yeah. The other thing we're not talking about is Facebook boosting. A lot of people, again, sorry if I offend anyone, I just need to speak candidly, I feel like, from what we've learned. But if you're boosting a post on Facebook, you're really not reaching anybody except the people on Facebook that like to comment, and share. So again, you're not qualifying anyone. You're just telling Facebook, I want as many people as possible to like this picture, which can get in front of a potential qualified patient, but it's just not the best way to go about it. And there's a lot of people that think they're marketing gurus because they know how to boost posts, but there's so much more that goes into it. And this is barely scratching the surface of what you can do on Facebook, and it's really not that effective. So now let's talk about conditional marketing as opposed to those other methods. So what we do at Ortho Patients is we take people from Facebook and add on Facebook and send them to Facebook Messenger. And this is kind of what the conversation looks like on there. This is a screenshot from an actual conversation that one of our doctors, a potential patient that came in their office. So before this, it's asked what days are best for them. They said Fridays. What time of the day works best? Afternoon. Great. What's the name of the person seeking treatment? And they said McKenna, Logan, and Tanner. How would it be to get that, 3-person? I have 3 kids that I want to bring all of them in on Friday afternoon. What's the best? And then we just ask, what's the best phone number? What's the best email? And if somebody goes through all these questions, it's safe to say that they're pretty qualified because they've spent the time, they've given you their time online, and so they're going to be more likely to show up. But also, which we'll get into a little bit later, you can also see their down payment and monthly payment thresholds, kind of what they're expecting to pay. And you can also set those up to reflect what you want to in your office. So again, this is a graph of, in November, we started running ads for this doctor, and this is by the end of December, all the people who had messaged in. Here's another example. The chat bot or the automatic, this whole conversation is automated, and it says, is this for yourself or for your child? They said, for my child. They say, let me pull some numbers real quick. And then she says, can I pay in full? That's probably a qualified patient you like to get in, right?
Instantly.
And then they said, if you have any opening this Thursday, we're available pretty much anytime that day. What's a ballpark estimate for braces? This is my first kid. So I mean, everybody's going to ask about price. I don't think you should be scared of it. You should tell them, you should give them an estimate, and make sure that they are going to be using your chair time effectively.
Let me ask you a
ahead.
question on that, because I think that's one of the common pushbacks that doctors are oftentimes concerned about is putting their prices out there.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel there's a way, and we've talked about this in my office, a way of doing it where you're not necessarily putting your exact fee out, but you can still qualify them from a financial standpoint?
Yeah, we'll definitely get into that. So let me
Good.
let me revisit it,
Yeah.
because there's a slide that's going to talk about it, but I appreciate that. And then here's another one. I have 3 kids that need to be seen. This just kind of like shows how you can bring a human element into this. The person in this office is replying to this person, and then we see later down the line, this is kind of like a cool way to again qualify, but also add a human element. She said, also, I have kind of a funny question. I was a Starbucks barista for over 3 years, so I feel like I really know people before I meet them based on their Starbucks order. What's your usual Starbucks drink? And then she says, this is what I order. And she said, great, we can't wait to meet you. Come back on another day.
I love it.
Whenever you come in. So it's an awesome way to engage with them before they come in, make them feel like you have a relationship before you even get them in the office.
Yeah, that's cool. Whenever you can automate personality,
mm-hmm.
right? I mean, that's kind of what you're doing. That's awesome.
Pretty cool. So this is 1.3 billion monthly active users on Facebook Messenger. So it's the most popular in the United States by far. And this is kind of what I call the great crossover. And as you can see in 2015, the popularity of messaging apps surpassed the popularity of networking apps. So if you can see at the bottom there, the big 4 messaging apps are WhatsApp, Messenger, WeChat, and Viber, which most people in the US aren't using WhatsApp, WeChat, or Viber. They're just using Messenger. And the big 4 social networks are Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn. So there's something to this, right? There's something about messaging a business that's different than engaging with them just through posts. Mm-hmm. And this is an example of my very first client, actually an ortho patient, Dr. Wade Thompson here in Utah. We had a couple, before we started really going hard on conversational marketing, you can see kind of in May, we started, there's a little bit, and then in July is when we really started running these specific campaigns that we're talking about today. And that same, you can see down in July, and these are all of the scheduled consults from that week. So this is the best this campaign has ever done. I think it had to do with the time of year and just also how awesome this office is. But we just launched it, and I think they had 17 consults scheduled in 2 weeks or something like that. So it's a really awesome, like sheer for volume, and we're talking about qualified volume as well.
Yeah, and that's the key, right? I mean, there's a lot of, there are some marketing campaigns that you can do that are going to get people in the door, but you've sorted through to get people who are highly likely to convert. Exactly.
And so these are just like, this works in California, Michigan, Florida, New York, Utah. These are all the results. And we've got clients all over who are profiting from this. So this is what the ad looks like from the user standpoint. So they're going to scroll through Facebook and see something like this that says, find out how much braces cost with our braces calculator. Then they go through something that looks like this, which you've seen a little bit of the examples, but first they're going to click on try the calculator. And sorry, this is a little bit slow, but we're going to kind of talk about it as it goes. So they say for my child or for me. And then this is where they can choose their a potential down payment and a potential monthly payment. If you see here, so they could have said, I think on this one it was $250, $500, and $1,000. And then it says, what is a comfortable monthly payment for orthodontic treatment for you? And this is the part that's customizable. So you as the doctor, when we ran this for Dr. B, he knows there's people on Facebook that are tire kickers. He knows there's people on Facebook that just, they're just dinking around. They're not actually interested in buying right now. And so he set his down payment options and his monthly payment options pretty dang high, so that each of the people that came in or that finished, requested an appointment, were qualified, which is a really cool way to qualify people without ever talking to them. You're automating. And if you notice, all the verbiage we're putting in here is we're doing our best to be friendly. We're saying what's a comfortable monthly payment for orthodontic treatment. And you're right, I do get a lot of pushback from doctors about this, but we're not giving them the full amount. You can give them the full amount if you're interested in that. But we're giving them an idea, a general idea of like, okay, 500, I should expect if I go in and it's the right thing, this is what I should expect. And I know that braces, I can Google how much braces are, and it's going to tell me anywhere from $3,000 to $6,000, right? So it's no secret how much braces cost, but for your office, if you want to keep that element of, we want you to come in for the consult before we give you the full fee, before we tell you the full fee, then this is an awesome way to do it, to give them an idea of what it's going to be and also qualify them at the same time.
I just real quick, what I also think is cool about it too, is for anybody that's trying to figure out what the sweet spot is of their payment plans, you're basically doing market research. Because people are telling you what they can afford. So, if you're not real sure what is the sweet spot, this is a great way of testing those waters.
Yeah. And it's interesting to see people that go through and just they get to that part where it's like, what are the monthly payments? And if they see 150, 200 and 250, and they're like, oh, that's out of my budget, then, they're just going to stop right there and they're not going to continue. So you don't have to deal with the patients that aren't going to be able to afford it. Mm-hmm. Let's continue here. So it talks about if you want to offer an amount off, you can also put that in here. I almost forgot to mention we have $250 off the promotion for us to start treatment within the next 2 months. And then it'll ask them this question: are you looking to explore treatment options within the next 2 months? So it's asking them to self-identify, am I really willing to do this right now? And they might stop, but the great thing is, even if you have 500 people go through and you only schedule, I don't know, let's say 25 consults out of that, and then a percentage of those show up, all of these people have engaged with you, and they're going to say, oh yeah, I remember when I took that calculator, like what was the name of that business again? Oh, I could go check in Messenger. Like, oh, these were the down payment options. And they can message you right there through Messenger. So it's also, you're like providing a lifeline for them to be able to contact you in the future.
Do you have like any numbers on what percentage of people that would start it would actually schedule an appointment with your office? I mean, do you have some numbers on that?
Yeah. So we typically say there's about 100 people a month that would take it, depending on the area, obviously. And then about 20 will request an appointment from that. So then these are all the things that you've already seen. It'll say what time of the day usually works best for you. And again, customizable, you can say Monday through Friday, or if you're only open Monday through Thursday, that's fine as well. And there are we've been working kind of in the R&D, if you want to call it, the R&D part of my company, which is just me and Tyler sitting around, kicking around ideas of what could make this do better. We've talked about, there's an idea from Dino Watt, actually, asking the patient, why are you taking this calculator today? What, and like talk about market research right there. You know exactly what's in their head. And if 80% of the people are saying, oh, I'm just curious, but then you can watch the people that say, I'm just curious, how many of them request an appointment, or they say, I'm ready to start braces right away. Whatever they say, why they're there, and it just becomes a much more effective way to market your practice.
Yeah, that's what I love about this is, so many times as orthodontists, we throw something out there, hope it sticks. Mm-hmm. And then we really don't know like why it worked, right? I don't know. I sponsored a little league team, and I don't know if anybody really saw me from that, but what's so cool about this is you're actually getting data that I think goes beyond just the actual marketing that you're doing. I mean, you're like you said, you're doing market research on why patients are looking for you, and you can use that in other aspects of your practice. So it's just really, really cool.
Yeah. And imagine having the long tail effects of this are what really get the wheels turning in my head. Like let's say you're having a slow day, slow month. You just go back through all of the 500 people who have messaged you, send 100 follow-up messages to the ones that seem most qualified. and then you fill your schedule up for the next week. So really cool ideas there. Let's just jump. I've only got a few more things here. So we're dealing with a generation that doesn't feel comfortable calling or emailing for information. I'm a millennial. We're different. We buy differently. We think differently. And this is an awesome way to reach out to somebody in a medium. The medium is the message, right? That they feel comfortable in. So we engage people on Facebook. We keep them in Facebook Messenger instead of taking them from Facebook to a scammy looking landing page. Which Tyler wrote this. He said, no creepy sales landing pages, which is super funny. And completing the sale where the client feels most comfortable is part of that. And I love this quote by Mark Zuckerberg. When they opened the Facebook Messenger API to integrate with third-party applications that allowed these bots and these automated conversations, he said, we think that you should be able to message a business in the same way you message a friend. Mm-hmm. And what a better way to qualify to engage with your community than being able to message them to say, hey, this is an easy way to get in contact with us. We can see what's going through your head, and we can also be your friend online. So it's like, I don't know, CEO of Facebook's a smart guy, and that's why he said that. Anyways, this picture is just if you feel like you're drinking out of a fire hose, don't worry. We all did at one point. And but anyways, that's conditional marketing. That's what we do here at OrthoPatients. And in addition to this cost calculator campaign, we also have a virtual consult campaign, which Tyler, if you want to check out Tyler Lovell on Facebook, they just did a live about that last week, discussing specifically how these virtual consults work. Again, keeping them in a medium where they feel comfortable, Facebook Messenger. So yeah, that's pretty much all I had. What questions you have, or I don't know if we can take questions from the audience. If we can, that would be great.
Yeah, we definitely can on the chat. And if you have any questions, just go ahead and type them in on the chat feature on here on Zoom. But I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Can you explain what the time investment is on setting something like this up for practice?
Yeah, if we set it up for them or if they set it up?
You can say both.
Got it.
I know some doctors are going to be very involved in it, and then some are probably like hands off. So, what's a typical practice?
Yeah. So if we're working with them, we try to make it as hands off as possible for you guys. So we ask what you want your monthly and down payment options to be, any details that you'd like included in the virtual consult if you're doing that campaign. And then we get admin access to your Facebook page, and then do a kickoff call. And literally that's all that the doctor has to do. But then on the back end of that, depending on how involved the doctor is, there's definitely follow-up involved within Facebook Messenger. The more you follow up, the more. We have a startup practice out in Florida that just crushes it with follow-up because they've trained their front office. Her name is Jamie. I don't know. She's probably not on this. She might see this, but Jamie's awesome. And she crushes it following up with all these people. So that's definitely part of it. But it's, if you just wanted to be completely hands off, forget about it, like make money while you go golfing, you'll make less overall, but it's still a viable option as well.
So, we're a big follow-up company, and that's a big part of what we do and what we constantly stress for all our people who subscribe to our software and our services. Mm-hmm. Talk to me about the follow-up. You and I have had this conversation before. What are challenges you have with offices? What do you feel is, where do offices struggle with the follow-up? You tell me a little bit about that side of it from your perspective. Yeah.
So what a lot of people don't know is that online leads convert. This is like industry, obviously every industry is going to be different, but people say that online leads convert between 1% and 3% right away. And so what we're really looking at here is the long-term effects of everything. And what we want is, we want you to be able to not waste your time following up with the people that don't care, which you can pretty much tell by the time they've gone through this automated messenger conversation if they're worth following up with. And then, sorry, I lost my train of thought trying to pick it back up. but just the idea that you're going to convert literally everyone with no effort it's flawed. It's very flawed. And that 1 to 3% is if you're not doing anything, but you can very, very much increase that if you're just willing to not chase people down, but follow up in a way that's going to, you're showing up in front of them more often.
Yeah.
And also, sorry, to add to that, one more thing, I had another doctor in Florida who was asking about follow-up as well. He was probably the most dedicated follow-up doctor. He would do it himself. And the problem that we found was that there's this balance between seeming desperate and seeming like, hey, we want you to come in. We'd love to have you in, and just kind of this friendly follow-up. And there's plenty of ways to follow up that are more automated. One is continuing to run retargeting ads to the people who have seen your ads. Another one is posting to your social media. Like when people like your page and they see something fun on your social media, you continue to post there. That's a form of follow-up that's not spammy. Email marketing. And then also what you guys do at Startaloo is a huge, I mean, it's obviously pretty different because you're following up after the consult when they've already showed that they're interested by coming in. But those, I just would encourage people to think about, it's not going to be easy, but also on the other end, if you don't want to seem scammy or spammy, then all you need to do is figure out how to follow up in automated fashions that are more scalable and more, just realize that the more you stay in front of people, the more they're going to be thinking about you, the more importance they're going to assign to you in their brain, and the more likely they are going to be to start with you down the line.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, there's something that a lot of orthodontic practices aren't familiar with is the lead degradation numbers. I'm sure you're aware of that. The length of time when a person fills something out online and the amount of time it takes for you to get back to them, those leads degrade very quickly. People lose interest. Yeah. And that doesn't mean that they're not good leads just because they do. It just means that they got busy with something else and, it just didn't come off as you being that focused on them. And so that is something that I will kind of, just as a little teaser, our team at Startaloo is working on, and soon we'll be launching something to help practices to follow up on leads very quickly, almost instantly.
Awesome.
So that's something that we're working on our end, and hopefully we'll have that out soon. And I do have somebody who's going to be coming on speaking over the next week or two, who's going to talk about the data behind lead degradation and, why it's so important that when leads are coming in, if you're waiting till the end of the day, or, it's your scheduling coordinator it's her responsibility to follow up on them and she's busy, so she does it the next day, the likelihood of that person actually coming in for an appointment goes way down. And so, and we, that's something that I think a lot of orthodontists got to wrap their heads around, that you can put the best marketing product out there, but at some point we have to take responsibility and ownership to handle what's coming into our office. And part of that is doing this on a timely basis, which is hard. A lot of times you're not going to have a whole designated person just to follow up on leads. It's going to be someone who has other responsibilities. And when they're face-to-face with a patient, the Facebook, lead that comes in is going to get put to the back burner.
Yeah.
So,
and that's the first thing I should have said is speed of follow-up. So I'm glad you brought it up.
Yeah. We did get a question, thoughts on YouTube ads. You want to comment on that? I've never done a YouTube app. I don't even, this might be embarrassing. I didn't even know you had YouTube ads. So take it away.
So YouTube ads for an orthodontist, correct, Max? Maybe you can confirm that. I'm assuming that's what it is, but YouTube ads are really, we've never gotten into them for orthodontists because we do really well on Facebook, but you have the ability to target locally, and the only difference there is that it has to be a video, and the creative is much more difficult to create. So you're not going to be able to, you're going to have to be, you have 5 seconds to grab somebody's attention, and then you can run a YouTube ad for as long as you want. I've seen like 40-minute YouTube ads with it's like a really interesting advertiser. But it would be about a minute to 2 minute your advertisement, right? But in those 5 seconds, that's where you have to grab people. And so you have to create, if you're getting a professional videographer, if you're getting a professional editor and you're trying to make this ad really, really good, then YouTube would be great. I think it'd be an awesome way to go. But again, it's on Facebook. It's as easy as taking a picture of you and your team doing something fun and slapping an ad together and those ads do really well because people just like fun pictures on Facebook. So it's the creative is much more different, but I'm sure you could have success with it. Yeah. And
videos are tough.
Yeah.
Tough to do it well and look good. You and I have had it.
And Max, can you redirect YouTube ads to Facebook Messenger? Yes, there is a way to do that, but I wouldn't recommend it just because it's kind of the idea of keeping people where they feel comfortable. If you're on YouTube and then they click on your ad and it takes them to Facebook Messenger, there's like a dissonance there where they're not sure, like, okay, wait, I was on YouTube, but now I'm on Messenger. And then they have to, the way that you'd have to do it, they'd have to confirm that they want to leave YouTube, and there's just higher barriers there.
Yeah, it looks like Annette had a question about templates on when to follow up and how to follow up and how often. I'll add a little bit to that, and then,
I was going to defer everything to you there.
Yeah. I mean, certainly, follow up for patients that come in your office. I'm not sure if she's referring to the leads that come in or after they've come in for a consult. If it's for patients who have come in for a consult, we have all that, and we have trees that we can provide. Just, you can email me or put, just Anthony@startaloo.com, and we can offer you all that information. It's how our virtual assistants do the follow-up on behalf of our practices. As far as leads coming in, I would say ASAP. I mean, the sooner you can get on it, and again, it's a level of customer service. You're not looking needy. You're just saying, hey, you took the time to fill out this form, and we're here to walk you to the next step. And I do think one thing that is very important, and this was something that was important to me when we set them up in my office, is whatever they select, you have to follow through with, right? So you can't say, what kind of down payment do you want to pay? And they say $250. They come into your office and you say, here's $500 down payment. That could very quickly turn it on its head, and now you're having people feel like you bait and switch them. So, if for people who are using Startaloo, you can use your patient profile to create a profile to match these patients that are coming in. So you don't have to worry about, well, are they going to get presented the right down payment? So you can automate that process already. And again, we're here to help you with that. You can just contact us. And that was one of the reasons why we put this in, is because I didn't want to have this like worry that a person selects, a $250 or $500 down payment, and then they come in and, my treatment coordinator wasn't aware of that, and she offered them $1,000 or, whatever it may be. So you have to be consistent. Otherwise this, it could be, it could kind of rub them off the wrong way.
Yeah. And just to answer about if we have templates about how to follow up with the leads, yes, we do. But honestly, it's kind of like templates are good, systems are great, but humans are what make all the difference. And that's our office that does so well in Florida that I mentioned, Jamie, that treatment coordinator. She just crushes it because she's so nice and she's so personable with the people in Messenger. And you have to match your brand. You have to match what you care about in those messages. And so, just to that point, like there's other ways besides just a template, like tell me exactly what I should say. Many times you're going to be able to come up with something better than a template that I can give you.
Yeah. Practices need to let their personalities out. That's really important, which is why I love that whole Starbucks barista thing. I think that's awesome.
Yeah. Super cool, right?
That's a really good idea.
Yeah.
Well, I don't have any other questions. If anybody else, looks like we usually try to keep these about 20 minutes because we want to make them short and sweet, but we did go over, but it was definitely worth it because this is great stuff. I mean, this is the future of marketing. It's going to get more and more patient or, client or prospect involvement, which is what this is. So this was awesome, Keaton. Thanks so much for being on today. And it's orthopatients.com. Let me see if I can share my screen. So it's orthopatients.com. Can you see my screen there?
Yeah.
And, definitely if you've got questions on this, Keaton is the guy. And we're going to do another boot camp. We're going to take Friday off because we have some other special, other guests that are coming up. So we've been doing a Monday, Wednesday, Friday, but we're going to take this Friday off. So the next one is going to be on Monday. And keep an eye on our Facebook post, our Facebook page on what that topic is going to be. But again, we're trying to find, fresh new ideas, things that are out there and things that you could implement, especially if you're using our software. Tomorrow you can start putting these into play. And so when we open, we're all coming out stronger than before we shut down. So thank you everybody for being on here. Our Facebook page is startaloo.com. We'll have this posted up there over the next day or two. And if you have any questions, just contact me at anthony@startaloo.com. All right, Keaton, thanks so much.
Yeah, thank you. And also, if anybody else has questions for me, best way to contact me is either email keaton@orthopatients.com, or you can always friend me on Facebook. I'm pretty active on there. So just feel free to reach out at any time.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
All right. Bye-bye.